Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again today for another live community chat. If you're new here, welcome. We love to have new people join. That's the point of this whole community conversation is to talk about things that'll hopefully help you, right? So thank you for joining and thank you for being here. If you're not new here, then you know that I just realized I didn't introduce myself. See, it's already begun. My name is Angela. I'm a full time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator. And excuse me, my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business. And we get together and have these community chats every week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. Now, if you're not new here, then you know every week we have a poll. And this week's poll was actually inspired by a viewer question that I got. So this one in particular was I'm interested in voiceover and just subscribe to your channel. You provided awesome information. I just signed up for Fiverr last week. I didn't complete my profile yet. It does take time, but thank you. I have a question. Towards the end of your stream, someone asked about not getting a callback or feedback after an audition. Which sites allow you to audition? Does Fiverr allow you to audition? Thanks. Fiverr is one of those sites where you cannot audition. Basically, people just go on there, find a service they need, and place an order. So, really, your demos are going to have to shine, right? In order to allow those clients to hear what you sound like, what you can do, and then they in turn can place an order, or they can reach out to you and ask for a sample of their script to get an idea of what their words would sound like with you narrating them. But you can't technically audition. But just about everywhere else, I think, apart from a few other freelance marketplaces, you can audition. You can audition on Upwork, you can audition on all the pay to plays, voices.com, voice123. You can audition on all of those if you have the appropriate membership level that allows you to do that. But I wanted to ask you guys, where do you find most of your auditions? And then as we go along, I think we put that question up on here. So that is today's poll. Where do you find most of your auditions? And I'm hoping during the course of this conversation, we can talk more about some tips for auditioning. And another question that comes up a lot is slating. Do you slate your auditions? So I guess that could be another topic of conversation today. Anything and everything about auditions, basically. This is Auditions 101. But let's start with where do you find most of your auditions? And it looks like so far we have 16 votes. So if you haven't voted, go ahead and do so. It looks like 75% of you said P2Ps or freelance sites. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my YouTube feed because it looks like it's stuck. There we go. Okay. None of you had answered agents yet. 12% of you said direct marketing or direct contact. Another 12% of you said other. And if you do answer other, please share where that is. So let's see what you guys say in the comments. Let's see who's first in. Caesar is first in today. Hey, Caesar, how you doing? Since I'm still setting things up, people come to me. Kind of makes me feel confident about getting more work once I have all my ducks in a row. I think you're right, Caesar. I think with the very unique voice and talent that you have, I think that you are going to be a force once you have all your ducks situated. Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. My hovercraft is full of eels. It's a Monty Python reference. I own neither hovercrafts or eels. What was it? Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries? That's one of my favorites. Monty Python quotes. Joya's here. Morning, Joya. Still being the oddball, I said other because I work for myself more than I am concerned with finding work. If other work comes, great. If not, I have plenty to do and not enough time to do it all. That's usually how it goes. Rustic Hillbilly is here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Pamela McDonald is here. Good morning, Pamela. Howdy, howdy. Queen Penguin is here. Good morning. Phil is here. Morning, Phil. Hey, Phil. How you doing? Mary HP is also here. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Erica is here. Good morning, Erica. Good to see you. Oh, look at that. Platinum group is in force today. Glowen, good afternoon, all. And VoiceOverAngela. Coffee is fresh and hot. Speaking of which, if you have your coffee on hand, cheers to you, my fellow Java freaks. Yes, coffee. MG Stevens is here. Good morning, Angela and everyone. Good morning, MG. Fox Aches. Hello. Hello. Fiber Jazz. Good morning. Greetings, all. Not able to stay long, but watch and read the chat later. Team replay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you could stop by for a few minutes, and we appreciate that. Craig Davis, VO Talent, says, hi, Angela. Relatively new to your channel. Jumped in live today. I appreciate you being here and for being part of my channel. Appreciate that. I think I joined to your Facebook group and have caught occasional streams or replays. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Glad that you're part of the community. Appreciate that. MG Stevens says, you mentioned slating. I don't slate unless they ask for it, and then they usually specify how they'd like it. So while we're on the topic of slating, I think this is another one of those things where it's sort of split 50-50. Although I think more of the non-slate, I could be wrong, but this is just based on what I see. I think more and more people are not slating, but I could be wrong, unless you have multiple takes of something within the audition. So you want to let them know at the beginning, like, for example, if it's a script that if they don't give you a whole lot of direction as to what kind of who the audience is, what the tone should be, that sort of thing, and it's sort of vague and it could go a couple different ways in your take of the script, and you want to give them a couple of different takes, then at the beginning of the file you could say take 1 of 2, right? And then go into that take, and then after that first take you could say take 2 of 2, and then go into that next interpretation of the script. I think for me, that would be the only time when I would really slate. I think, to me, and again, this is my opinion, and I know there's going to be a lot of differing opinions, but here's mine. But I think from a client's perspective, if they have 150, 30 auditions to listen through, I don't think that they would want to wait through anything in the beginning, like wait through, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm doing this, and, short bio here, or even really anything other than what I want to hear, which is what I am asking for, which is the script I've provided to hear. And then within the first few seconds, they're going to know whether or not you're appropriate for the piece or not, I would think. So in lieu of recording a slate at the start of the file, what I do is I make sure that my full name is in the name of the file itself. So when you record the file and you name, the actual file name has got your name in it, and whatever other designations or characteristics in it that help you to keep track of what it is. For example, if you found the audition on Voice123, I would name the file V123 _ my name, and then _ maybe the client's ID. So then that way both myself and the client know where to find this audition later. Because I have a folder on my desktop for each platform or each place that I find work. And then within that folder, I can even break it down further by client or whatever. That way everything's in the appropriate place, so I know where to find it later if I need to. And then also for the client, they can see whose audition this is, and perhaps which platform they found it on, because maybe they have, who knows, they could have the job listed on a couple different platforms. So that's my take on slating. But Obviously, do what you feel is appropriate. And also, if you feel like you need to relay additional information, instead of putting it in the flate in the flate in the slate, you could also include that information in the message that accompanies your audition. So when you send an audition, most of the time you have the ability to include text with that also on most places. And in that text, you could say, "Hey, this is my initial take, but I'm pretty flexible. I could do different tones or I could speed this up, I can slow this down." Any other additional information that you think is appropriate, you could always put in text form too. If the client likes what they hear and want to see more about you, you could do that. But again, that's my take. Um, Thank you for bringing that up, MG. Caesar says, "Are agents even still a thing these days? I hear conflicting things. One, agents not important. Two, big jobs only from agents, and you get small jobs without an agent." I hear conflicting things too. To tell you the truth, Caesar, I think I do know some people that are around the same place as me that have agents. And within those people, I hear conflicting things that they don't see anything from their agents. And if they do, it's once a month or a few times a month. But then I have this other people that tell me when they have agents that they see weekly work from their agents. So I think, again, there's a lot of variables there. I think it may depend on where and who the agent is and how much work they see, perhaps. Um, it's really hard to say. I've never had an agent. I don't know if I will. I may, but I don't really know. I've I've got along just fine for the past over 5 years now without one. So I don't know. Maybe I will one day. I mean, who knows? But same. I wouldn't say that they're not important. I would say that the pay to play sites have sort of taken over some of that as far as just being the middleman and finding jobs to source. But an agent, I could see where you could build a relationship with somebody and have someone to rely on to be in your corner. So I see the benefit of it, but yeah, I think that's a decision that every person, every individual is going to have to make on whether or not they want to go that route for agents. But I just wanted to see what everybody's thoughts were for those watching, because we don't know what we don't know in the beginning, right? So Tess is here. Hey, Tess from Dracula. That will never not be funny. Bear338 says, "Good morning, Angela. Is it cooling off for you yet?" As far as it can in the desert. I think it's getting down into the 70s at night, which I'm very thankful for. But I think we're supposed to be under 100 for this week, so I am thankful for that too. My electric bill will be smaller. Thank goodness. Fox Aches. Good luck with my name. Is that right? Fox Aches? Fox Aches. Fox Aches. I feel like there's a pun in there. Let it go, Lisa. I love that username. Let it go. Hi, Angela. I was working on book number 9 through ACX, my very first long 12-hour form book. I was 3 weeks deep when ACX informed me that the production was removed. Second time, very disappointing. That is disheartening when that happens. It is. And I think a lot of times they don't tell you why. So it could be a couple of different reasons. It could be that perhaps the author was legitimately the author and had pulled the production because maybe they decided to not use Audible or to not be exclusive to Audible. Maybe there was an issue with the contract and they just decided to go elsewhere. Or it could be that it was not legitimately the author. So, and again, that's another question I get relating to ACX or really audiobooks in general and submitting auditions for audiobooks is, how do you know, or how is there a silver bullet basically for determining whether or not the author is legitimately the author or the rights holder legitimately the rights holder? And that is up to you. You can't really rely on We have tools that will help, but it's ultimately up to you to do the due diligence as the professional to make sure that you're actually working with the correct person. And sometimes you're not always going to be right or be able to find the right answer. You're just going to have to rely on intuition and your instincts. And if it feels too good to be true, or if it feels weird, or if your spidey senses are tingling, then, ask questions or just get out of it. But don't forget that authors are people too. So if somebody reaches out to you on any platform that says, "Hey, I have an audiobook," and they send you the manuscript, always ask for the manuscript up front if you can, to make sure that it's content that you want to narrate, that you're comfortable with, and to make sure that the name written by is the same person that you're talking to. And if it's not, then ask questions. Ask what their relation is to this person, or you can find the written by and reach out to that person directly, or the person who owns the copyrights. Usually on, the first couple of pages of the manuscript, you'll find the copyright date and the copyright owner. You can also find who that is and reach out to them directly just to verify that they are in fact looking for an audiobook version on XYZ platform, whatever it is. You can do that. I would do that. I think any author would want you to do that, right? That's protecting their interests, right? So it's a little bit more work, yeah, but it may prevent having things like this happen or infringing on somebody's rights, right? On their copyrights of their book, and to keeping someone from being scammed, you and the author, right? Tangent one. Oh, we have a super chat. Let's see. Sean Lester. Thank you for the super chat. Sean, I appreciate you. A little sip of coffee after that tangent. Hold on. Okay. Sean says, how many books will you have in production at one time? Do you record one at a time, or do you do multiple books? An hour of one, then another? It all depends on how I scheduled them. There was at least a couple of years straight where I had multiple books at one time. I'm talking 2, 3, 4, sometimes 6 at a time. And I had to step back a little bit because I was just overworking myself. But to answer your question, it would all depend on what the due dates, timeframes, what they were about, how large they were. So I had to carefully consider the time I had available and schedule them appropriately. But for the most part, I would do one at a time, unless there wasn't any issue of mixing up characters or things like that. Again, I do a lot of self-help, like women empowerment, how-tos and stuff like that. I do a lot of those, biographies and things like that. So a lot of times there isn't a whole lot of character work. So for me, I can usually work on multiple at a time, maybe 2 at a time. But most of the time I find myself going through them one at a time, just so I'm focused on the one book at a time. But again, this is something that you can figure out for yourself as far as what time you have available, what your availability is to do these. And as long as you're not mixing characters up, then, why not? I know there's a lot of other narrators that do the same. You see a lot of those narrators on TikTok narrating, they'll be narrating one book on one day and then live narrating another book on another day. So I guess it just depends on what you're comfortable with, I suppose. Thanks again for the super chat, Sean. Let It Go Lisa says, apparently the rights holder was not the rights holder. Second time this has happened, still moving forward though. And I think that is the most important takeaway, is that not letting that stop you. Because again, anytime that you make yourself available online, anytime that you make any available online, it's susceptible to someone trying to pull the wool over your eyes, unfortunately. So with just about everything that we do online, we have to double check, sometimes triple check, just to protect ourselves and anyone else that's involved. So, but just knowing that and expecting it and making sure that you do your due diligence to keep it from happening, not only to you, but the other party, just expect that that's something that's going to happen, but still have the positive mindset. Well, that's unfortunate and that really stinks. And I'm hoping that you didn't get super far through it before that happened, um but keeping the mindset, just a positive mindset. Oh, that sucks, but I'm going to keep moving forward because this is something that I want to do. And don't let that stop you. Just expect it to happen, but keep moving forward. And I'm sorry that happened to you. That really stinks. Oh, got another super chat. Thank you so much. Who is this? This is Jonathan Bronsnan. Bronsnan? Did I say that right? I hate butchering people's names. I'm so sorry. Um, just appreciate your content. Thank you. It beats even the paid content out there. Please take my money. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate you. I hate I hate is a strong word, but I never wanted to be a person. I had someone ask me this yesterday, like, why do I do this? Why do I do this? Is it because I'm not making enough money with VO? And that's not it at all. I just don't like when there's a paywall. And I know that's a business model. I know what it is. I mean, if you have a talent or a skill or information, then, have somebody pay for it. But I think it's important, especially with our industry and any industry where you're isolated and alone and you can't really talk to other people in your household about these kinds of things because they just going to look at you like you have a lobster crawling out of your ear. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know the lingo. They don't know the struggles. They may listen to you, but they're not truly going to understand. So I think with us, if we have a place where we can come together and just share information and just have a chat and it helps somebody, I mean, why should people have to pay for that? It's I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I appreciate the super chat. I really do. And the compliments. I appreciate you. Don't make me all emotional. Don't make me emotional. Thank you so much. Erica, I don't slate anymore. Just include my name in the file name. Yeah, I remember talking about that, I think in one of our group mock auditions. I think we talked about that a couple times, but you have such a beautiful voice, Erica. I think even if you did slate, that people would just go, "Yep, that's it. I don't even have to hear my words. That's the voice I need right there." Craig Davis says, same here. I do not slate unless they request it. Usually clients like to get to the meat of their project. And that's kind of what I was saying. They just want to see if you're the voice. And if not, move on to the next one. Or if you are, shortlist you and then go through them later. I would think, right? Yeah, same. Pempers says, hi, I'm kind of stuck on fiddling with my demo because I'm too picky with sounds, syllables, and rather than finishing the demo, so I can upload my demo on Fiverr and start my gigs, I'm procrastinating tips. Just do it. We've all been in this position. I think most people listening right now will say, same. Same. I've done the exact same thing. Because it's really, really easy to over edit if you let yourself, right? I say before you even hit record, whatever audition you're looking at, really take some time to understand the copy, right? Understand who you're talking to, who you are as the narrator, and what is the intent of this copy? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Am I trying to elicit some emotion? Am I trying to just relay information? What am I trying to do? If you can have a firm understanding of those three things on your copy and then say it out loud a couple times, and then when you hit record, just let the genuine you and your perspective on it come through. Do as little effects as you need, right? Don't just pile on effects because everybody says to do it. Only use the effects that apply to you and your situation, because not every effect is going to apply for every person, right? And when I say effects, I mean like noise reduction and, all declick and all of the things that we talk about. If you don't need it, you don't need it. So don't over add effects either. Just let the genuine you in that conversational pace come through. Don't spend a bunch of time trying to get rid of mouth clicks and do all this stuff. Just basically record, do the minimal to it, remove any retakes that are, and just send it and then move on to the next one. Because it's very easy to get stuck in that over edit phase. We've all been there. But give it your best, record it, save it, send it, move on to the next one. I know that's hard to do, but just try. Just try to do that. Phil to Caesar says, don't forget their commission fees. Oh, for agents? Yes. Yeah, they're all going to have different structures, I'm sure. And not probably huge differences, but and also in regions or geographical areas that they serve, right? Caesar says, at one point I was somewhat discouraged from getting that into VO because I was told that big jobs come from agents stateside. I was under the impression that anyone could do VO from anywhere in the world. You can, as long as you have internet access. Yeah, you could be a voice actor anywhere in the world. Of course. I think I can see how that statement makes sense. But I think, again, with all of the pay to play sites and the availability of people all over the world, I mean, anyone with internet access could be a voice actor. I think I was chasing a train down a different track, to be honest. And now I'm kind of lost. You pronounce too accurately. Not surprising. Okay, so there is. Oh, I just got it. I know the pun. Okay. I'm a voice actor. So yes, I'm going to pronounce it accurately. I'm saying it in my head now. I'm with you. Very funny. John Serrano says, hi, Angela. Well, hi, John. Early on, if you got approached for a project that looks bad, really low budget and amateurish, would you do it? Have you done anything like that early in your career that you regret, that I regret? No, I don't wanna go down that road. I think, especially in the beginning when you really don't know what you're doing and you really don't know what you should and shouldn't take, I still carefully considered everything that I took on. And if I remember a few things that I was approached with that were just, my red flags all over the place, and I said no, even though I was so desperate to get started and to get the ball off, get the ball moving. But I wouldn't say there's anything that I regret because I can't start down that path of regret. It's a lesson learned, and now I know not to do it again or what to look for so I don't get there again. And I know everybody's going to say, well, what was that? I can't tell you what that is because it's going to be different for everybody, right? So, use your own common sense. If it talks like a duck and walks like a duck and doesn't make any sense to you, if they vague answers and they're not answering, you're dancing around your question, things like that, or if it's something that just truly makes you uncomfortable, everybody's got hard stops on things that they will and will not do. Right? Some people just can't get into political stuff. Some people just cannot get into anything with explicit content, either in just the words or, in romance novels, things like that, spicy books. Some people just can't handle religious stuff just because it may be different from their beliefs. I mean, whatever it is, if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, then don't do it. Right? But I have been approached for a few things, and I think I had to carefully consider where it was going to be played, what was I saying, and if it offended me, where I felt comfortable with my voice being in that place. And then I would say yes or no. But I think everybody's probably been in that position once or twice. Phil says, had an email telling me rights holder has removed their book for auditions. They haven't selected a narrator, though. Happens more often than you think. Yeah, and there's a lot more authors that I've been talking to that have said they're sending their book to Find a Way. instead of ACX. Everybody used to say ACX, ACX, ACX. But now I'm seeing more of Findaway and on YouTube and many other distributors. So I think there's a lot more people, from my experience anyway. I don't know if this is fact or not, but more people that I'm talking to that are going non exclusively to Amazon or Audible ACX. Kamikaze's here. Morning. Hope all is well. So far, so good. Oh, hey, Phil, happened to me today. Sigma. I guess not. Phil says, what Sigma? It could probably be a multiple titles. Caesar says, I can't do multiple books yet. I have an outdoor sound leak issue, needs to be fixed. Just had the work commissioned. Installation is likely next week. You will get to that point, Caesar. Just give it some time. It doesn't have to be now. It can be whenever you're ready for it, right? And just really quickly, let's touch back onto the poll. And again, the poll today was inspired by a viewer question about where to find auditions. So again, today's poll was, where do you find most of your auditions? And if there's something, a place where you like the other, if you don't use any of the available options that I gave you, then share where you get them. Please. All right, so right now we have 29 votes. So it looks like 79% of you said the P2P freelance sites. 0 said agent. 10% said direct marketing or contact. And then 10% said other. So if you did say other, please share what that other is so we can help everyone joining. Yeah, lost my place. I don't know what happened. As soon as I click away, it just goes to a completely different spot. Fox Aches says, it was a hint about the book that got canceled on me this morning. I figured as much. But there's probably more every day, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Jonathan says, it's like Pierce Brosnan. Okay, Jonathan Brosnan. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. No problem. First time for me. Well, I appreciate you being here, and thank you for joining with such a fun username. Something I say at least once a day. Erica says, thank you for helping so many of us. I'm going to make you emotional. So there, take it. No, don't do that to me. You guys know that I get all emotional. I'm just here to help. Truly, genuinely, honestly. It's not about the money for me. Pemper says, is it a bad idea to use 2 pieces of the same genre in a demo, but read it in a subtle different tone or character? No, I think what I typically do with audiobook demos is I'll have one that's got pieces of a lot of different things to show my range. And then I'll have another demo that's got pieces of one genre. Like I'll have one that shows, a little bit of everything. And then I'll have another one that's just e-learning or self-help rather. And then I'll have another demo that's just children's books. Then I'll have another demo that's just something dramatic, horror, right? Then I'll have another demo that's just romance or love stories, that kind of thing. You could do that, or you could do whatever you want to do, right? But the whole point of the demo is to highlight your ability to the client so they can hear what you're capable of doing. That is the sole purpose of a demo. So make it however you want to. Just make sure that your best stuff is on it, because that's what your clients are going to hear and base their decisions upon. Caesar says, the great thing about this community, and especially Platinum, is that I actually have ability. Yes, you do. It's an amazing feeling. The workshop activities and challenges help hone my craft. Well, that was my intention, not only to help and sort of open eyes a little bit as to what you can do and what maybe you thought you couldn't do, but now realize you can do, like some people I know. Or I should say, and we have a lot of fun. in the challenges and activities that we do every week. Thank you, Caesar. Fox Egg says, it's not what you think of the demo, it's what the listener thinks. So try not to judge your own stuff and post it. You'll find out what people think soon enough. That's what's important. Mm-hmm. Joya says, off topic question. How do I find demo podcasts that I can use to prove my editing skills for my Fiverr podcast editing gigs? Fiverr stopped me until I get a demo. You know what I did for my podcast editing gig is for the demo pieces, I put in the intros and outros that I recorded. And then I don't remember if I kept the video, but I used a video that was basically a fast paced recording of me editing so they could see what the editing process looks like. So there are alternatives. It doesn't have to be actual snippets of podcasts that you've edited. Because also then you would have to, in order for it to make sense for the buyer, you would have to have a before and an after so they could see the difference between that's a lot. And then you would also have to have the podcast owner their permission to use it in the first place. So I didn't do any of that. So what I did instead was the video of the editing process, and then the demo, the audio snippets, I just put in there intros and outros that I've recorded because it is an additional service in my podcast editing gig. So I use those. Caesar says to Pempers, from my experience, sometimes it's a good idea to take a short break once you start getting too picky with your sound. Come back with fresh ears. That is another good thing. So if you're finding you're maybe over editing or getting over really picky with what you're editing, get up, save your project, close everything down, go take a walk, get outside, put your feet in the grass, pet a dog, drink some tea, take a break, and then come back to it if you want to. So you sort of break that cycle in your head. Good point, Caesar. Glowen says to Caesar, I have such a hard time doing that. The sound of my own voice needs editing when I hear it. And Glowen, you're not alone in that respect. I think we've all been in that place too, myself included. In the very beginning, I heard myself for like the first few times, even the first maybe year even, I would just go, ugh, that's so cringy. I can't even listen to that. How am I going to edit through an entire audiobook when I have to listen to my own voice and it sounds like that? Good God. But you get over it. The more you hear it, the more you just get past it. Fox says, I'm reading a 100-year-old book right now. The punctuation and language has me running to Google for pronunciation and context. I think it's awful, but my friends love it. That's all I need. There you go. Love it. Caesar says to Glowen, give it time, and something will happen where you'll appreciate your voice. For me, it was two things. Finding my golden mic. Well, we're also talking about you, the collector of mics, and putting my voice in a demo for a platinum challenge. Well, my platinum group, the mock audition challenges that we do. Good. I'm glad that helped. And that's sort of one of the points of doing that is also to making sure that we all talk about how to audition, how you should audition as far as, all the technical parts of it, but how your audio quality sounds and your performance in it. And all of these things help to, like you said, hone your craft, but also to show you that you don't sound the way that you think you sound, that you actually sound good and not like you do when you have that criticizing voice in your head going, oh, you sound like garbage. No one's going to hire you. But you finally hear that, no, that's not fact. That's not the truth. You actually sound amazing. So you can just take that little inner voice and just flick him across the room. Tell him to shut up. 24/7 Dom Angelo says, if I'm brand new to ACX, should I hide the fact that I'm new to this, Or should I mention this in some way? Not really sure what to say about myself to fill my profile. That's a very good question regarding ACX. When you're filling out any profile in any platform, don't say that you're new. Don't say that you're new or just starting out or anything that's going to indicate that you're new. Because even though that's you're being honest and transparent, which I always say to do, you don't want to inadvertently give the wrong idea to someone who may not be reading everything in your profile. They may just see that one statement and then not even bother to listen to anything because you're telling them, I'm inexperienced. So they may not think that you know what you're doing or that your audio quality is going to sound bad. I mean, who knows? That more than likely isn't the case, but you don't want to set or give the wrong impression up front while you're just getting started, right? Focus more on what you can offer the client. Make it customer centric. Always the key in sales. What can you do for me, right? As the buyer or as the seller? Meaning, I have high quality equipment. I can offer you a fast turnaround. My voice sounds like this, right? I have this kind of accent. What can you do for the buyer? Make your bio very customer centric instead of, hey, I'm brand new, help me out. Glowin says, my platinum group is October. Need to get my setup finished so I can participate. Really want to do this. Are you in, what are we doing? Are we in Echo? We're in group Echo right now, I think. You're not in Echo, are you? I think you might be. You have until Sunday, if you are in group Echo, to turn in your mock audition. You got this, Glowin. Tess says, I've turned down one gig to a reputable company that almost brought me to tears to say no to. It was legit, but I was going to have to sell my soul for 8 months to make it work. Has to be right for you. Very well stated. And I've had to do that too, a couple of times when I was just too busy. There was no way to make it work. I had to turn down a repeat client who has worked with me for a long, long time. It was a large chunk of money. I had to turn it down because I just, as much as I wanted to, just did not have the time for it. I had to let it go. And that's going to happen. They didn't have the time to wait, and I didn't have the time to do it. Sophia says, I'm just starting, but I've been looking at the freelance sites. There are a lot of them. There's literally over 100 of them. Lots of them. So make sure that you look at them all because they all get their piece of the pie, right? They're businesses in and of themselves. So every single one of them is going to get a piece of the pie some way or another. Some of them take a percentage of what you make. Some of them will charge you an annual or monthly or quarterly or biannual fee for membership and take a percentage. They're all structured a little bit differently price-wise. So make sure that you have a good understanding of how that works. Some of them even will collect the funds in escrow and then release them to you once the customer is satisfied. Some of them you need to invoice the customer and follow up with being paid. So make sure that you understand how they work is my best advice for those. But yeah, and do the research on them. If you're in VoiceOver Facebook groups, which I always recommend, if you're looking at one that maybe you're just kind of having a weird feeling about, ask the people in your group, hey, does anybody have any experience with this site? What is your experience with it? And then maybe that'll help you make a decision on whether or not to join. Erica says, I finally joined Voice 123 at the lowest tier, $3.99. Getting auditions. Oh boy. Excuse me. But most come through in the middle of the night. Is that typical? So frustrating. That's pretty much what I've seen too. But remember, these sites are global. They're worldwide marketplaces. So that's something that is going to happen. And also keep in mind that then yours and the higher tiers are going to see the auditions before you do. So by the time that you actually see those auditions, they've probably already met or exceeded their desired number of auditions anyway. So If something does pop up right away, then, I mean, it's always still a good idea as long as there's still. And when I say the number of auditions they wanted, on some of these sites, the job itself will say how many auditions that they want to receive. Maybe they'll only want 50, maybe they want 100, and maybe if they did want 50, they've already received 60 of them. If there's something that you really, really want and think that you're a really good fit for, why not? If it's only going to take a couple of minutes. But I feel like I'm getting sidetracked and my train is derailing. But to answer your question, I think that is fairly typical and it is frustrating. Fox says, have you ever considered doing a talk version of this chat using Discord, for example? We have a Discord for my platinum group, and I'm on a few other Discords. But to be completely honest with you, and I've said this before, with all of the different places that I'm already available to talk to people and to answer questions, I don't know if I have the bandwidth for another one. I'm already starting to fail miserably on keeping in touch with people on all the places that I'm available on. I don't want another one to make me look even worse. But I have considered it. It's been brought up a few times, but I'm trying to not overwhelm myself. But thank you for the suggestion. Facebook user, this is Colette. She says, Caesar, you're going to be amazing. As we already know, Caesar, you are amazing. Fox says, I'd just really like to hear the other folks here, to be honest. Oh, like their voices? That's a good point. And I can tell you there's a lot of people in this chat that are in my platinum group. So we get to see each other's faces and hear each other every Thursday. Or what we could do, I mean, I don't want to have to do this, but we could have I'm getting ahead of myself. But YouTube has the ability to have like a membership too, but I don't want to put a paywall on that. I'll see if I can figure something out, but anyway, Pamela says, please punch that like button. Yes, punch it right in the eye. Thanks, Pam. I'm not one to self-promote myself. It makes me feel weird. Facebook user, this is Colette. She says, glowing right there with you. Joya says, thank you. Determined to get my Fiverr gig up before Thursday's meeting. Still writing last week's motivational meeting. Good. Good. Yeah, so you got to just think outside the box and how you can make it work. Queen Penguin says, I've been using ChatGPT to create commercial scripts to create my first DIY demo for Fiverr. Thoughts? I mean, you can, I suppose, but, with all of the discussions about ChatGPT and how they're getting into trouble with some things, if you're going to use ChatGPT to create your commercial copy, I would even, whatever ChatGPT spits out, I would still add your own touch to. So it's not completely, a conglomeration of other people's words, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm just AI biased. I don't know. Or you can join my platinum group where we have lots of scripts already written for you guys to practice and use. Caesar says, I remember this one time I spent an entire day creating EQ curves in for each of my mics to fix my voice. Feels like a long time ago. The cuts I made were so deep, I no longer sounded like me. And it's really easy to go down that rabbit hole. Because then once you start adjusting, you forget how you sounded at the start. And then you just keep doing further and further damage. Been there. Totally been there, done that. Glowin says to Queen Penguin, that is a great idea. I've been trying to find a way to create demo scripts that aren't copyright. Caesar says, the following day I listened back to my EQ settings and I was like, what the heck was I thinking? Now my EQ cuts are more subtle and corrective and less tone shaping. Good. Yeah, less is more. Less is definitely more. The real Troy. What is the best way to launch your own indie content and get it seen? Not sure what you mean. Your own indie content and get it seen. Social media, perhaps? You mean like if you're a writer or if you're a voice actor writing your own copy? Social media is what I would think. Podcasts. Barb Cam is here. Good morning, Barb. Good morning. Glowin says, I think I'm in alpha group. Um, okay, so if you're in alpha, then you're back up in November, early November. We can double check you on Thursday. Fox says, "Hey chat, what are these groups?" Um, the groups that we're talking about, my platinum group is a group that's through my website, voiceoverangela.com. It's my platinum group. That's what it's called. It's a monthly group that you can join, and we meet every Thursday night and we go through these I say really fun activities. I think that they are. Sometimes I will bring a script and we'll treat it like a cold read. We'll look through it and we'll all take turns reading it and giving a different perspective and a different spin on it. We actually have Joya and a few other people are working together on building a audio drama that we all have parts in. That's something that we're doing exclusively in our group. That's a lot of fun. We do the Wheel of Emotions where we'll have the same script, but then we'll spin the Wheel of Emotions and it'll land on sorrowful, and you'll have to read that script, sorrowful, and then read it again as, I don't know, excited or something. It's funny to kind of go against the grain. Anyway, but it's a monthly membership. It's called the Platinum Group, and we meet every Thursday night. And along with that membership, you have access to blogs and mini challenges and practice scripts and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's what we're talking. Oh, and the mock auditions. We also do each group. I have so many people in the group that I had to put everybody in a different subgroup. And then those groups take turns every month with a mock audition contest. I hope that answers that question. Glowin says to Fox, Platinum Group is a Zoom class that Angela hosts every Thursday. Then within, we are broken down into groups. Then we do fake auditions to get rated and critiqued. Yes, in a nutshell. Yes. Caesar says, I'm in Eggnog group, or was it Eskimo? Fox, these are challenge groups for platinum members. It's like Hunger Games, except we don't actually hurt each other, but only one victor is chosen. Well, technically, there's top three, right? Top three. Fox says, oh my God, I want in. Just go to my website, voiceoverangela.com. Go to the plans and pricing page because that's where all my courses and things are. But the very first one is called Platinum Membership. That's what that is. And all of the meetings are recorded. So if you can't attend, if you miss one, they are recorded. You can always catch up on it on the next day. Caesar says, thank you, Colette. I appreciate you very much. Colette says, Thursday nights are so fun. Yes, a lot of people in here are in the Platinum Group, and we have a lot of fun. It's not all stuffy and sterile. We have a good time. Everybody brings an adult beverage. It's very casual. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs, but we do get the work done too. Phil says, if you want to hear my voice, you can by checking my book, Cross of Destiny by Phil Sun, available now. Nice little plug there, Phil. Getting better at that. I'm proud of you. Caesar says to Phil, glad to see your promos are no longer being blocked in chat. Yeah, you can't put links in the chat, but you can just type it all out. Bear says, so I have a question that is making me bang my head against the wall. What is your opinion of practicing on my phone or PC headset? Is that going to create bad habits? Yes, don't do it. Don't do it, because the whole scenario, the feeling, the where you're sitting, the sound, everything is so different. I think you want to get accustomed to sitting in a certain position to make sure that you can, use your diaphragm, that you're straight, that you're, not only your seating position, but your mic placement, the room itself. I mean, I would say that's a bad habit that you don't want to start for sure. Bear then says, on a side note, when people ask me why I do this, I tell them I do all my best work from a padded room. That's right. I get I talk to myself in a padded room all day and get paid for it. That's essentially a voice actor. For sure. Oh boy, I'm losing track of time. I have a meeting that I need to get to. Okay, let's get through these last few comments. Joya says to Caesar, I started using a program that has a built-in EQ AI, auto EQ game changer. You're going to have to share that one with us. Fox says, Phil, nice work. Absolutely. Caesar says to Bear, not so much bad habits as it may not be an accurate representation of your final output. Yes, I agree, and that it would be one of the reasons why I would say that would start to create bad habits. There's, I think, a lot of other factors there that I don't think you should start to get comfortable with, if that makes sense. Caesar says to Joya, oh, wow, tell me more. Yes, you must share, Joya. Phil says, thanks, Caesar, thanks, Fox. Queen Penguin says, I understand the apprehension against AI. My idea was to create fake commercials, video for faux companies and all. Oh, okay. I wish I had recall commercials to showcase, though, or real commercials to showcase, though. And you will. You will. Just keep doing what you're doing. You will get there. Joya says to Caesar, Discord after meeting. Bear says, okay, thank you. I'm just impatient waiting for my mic, etc. I understand. I completely understand that. But it's better to, you know what, if you want to practice as far as like breath control and all of those things, what you could do is just sit on your couch, grab a book and read out loud. Read a book out loud. Read everything that you come across out loud. So if you're washing your hair and you're waiting for the conditioner to do its thing for its 2 minutes it has to sit, read the conditioner bottle. Read out loud and practice out loud. You could do that. For sure. All right. Last two comments. Glowen says, I'll be there too. I need to see this auto EQ. Tess says, thanks, Angela and everyone from Dracula. Caesar says, I've tried reading everything out loud, drove everyone around me nuts. Yeah, it does. It does that to me too, for sure. Everybody's like, you're so annoying. All right, y'all. So I will be here again next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, I hope everybody has a great week. And I'll see you all then. Bye.